Hello, hello, and welcome back to You Mystery Tours.
Yes.
How's it going?
The new network. Going great.
It's
How
not
are
a new
you?
It's not the new network. It's the new show.
The new show on the new network.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a network, but yeah, we'll run with it. Good. Well, last week I decided that aliens had done everything.
Yes. You can't
So,
you can't get away with it this time, I don't
Can I
think.
not? No. Have you got something different for me?
Yes, I
this
do.
week?
It's a lot more different.
Cool. Well, yeah, just to give context, this is well, we don't know if it's audio only or not at the moment, but Niku will come to me with an unsolved mystery.
Yeah.
And she'll explain it, and I will try and solve it.
Yeah. Alex is going to solve these unsolved cases that have been unsolved for many, many years.
Which case am I solving today?
So this is the case of Maura Murray. It's a very famous disappearance in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be in Massachusetts in February of 2004. So this case has not been solved in 17 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so no pressure. But Maura is kind of the main character in this story.
Mm-hmm.
So she was 21 years old at the time, and she was attending the University of Massachusetts, better known as UMass, and she was studying nursing, and she just recently actually transferred to UMass from a military school called West Point. Yeah. And I just thought I would give you a little bit of background about her. So she's the typical all-American girl, like big smile.
What was she studying, sorry?
She was studying nursing, yeah. Cool. And she was like, by all-American, I mean she's like a star athlete in college and high school.
Okay.
Ran track, yeah, cross country, all that. She also had a boyfriend called Bill, who also was in the military, and he was stationed in like Oklahoma or something. But he was a couple of years older than her. He was. Yeah, he was. So
Bill.
It's a little bit of background about Maura's life, and she had a sister, and she was really close to her family, all of that. But let's actually get into what happened to her. So, before the actual incident, I thought I would let you know a little bit about the day before the incident, and then lead up to the actual incident itself. So, the day before, basically something you should know is that with nursing, you have to do placement. You have to do it here as well, like where you do like clinical placements. So she needed to travel for those.
The hands-on practice.
Yeah. So she needs to travel for those, but her car was like a mess. Like I don't know if they do like how much service or MOTs they do in America, but I mean, if she had an MOT, she would have failed it like 100 times. Like it was like smoking. The car was like it was undrivable. So her dad was like, okay, I'll come down to Massachusetts and we will have a look at cars.
Yeah.
So they go out that day, the day before, and they have a look at cars. They don't really finalize the sale. They just kind of pick what they want. And then her dad decides, okay, I'll come back next weekend and we'll get the car then. Then they have lunch, and it's just the most normal day, like nothing really wrong. And then it kind of starts to get strange. So her dad goes back to his motel in his brand new car.
And he's bought himself a nice car.
So he's had a car, like he's got this brand new car, not at the time they bought it, but he had it before. It was just like a brand new car. And Maura's like, I'm going to a party tonight, and can I borrow your car? And so it's kind of strange because obviously the dad knows that she'll be drinking that night, but he's like, okay, yeah, borrow my car, my brand new car, even though I'm pretty sure you're going to be drinking that night. And also she doesn't really need a car. The party's on campus, and she lives on campus. She can just walk there.
How old is she?
She's 21.
Okay.
So she's like, I need this car to go to the party, and the dad's like, okay. But anyway, so she takes the car, she goes to the party, and then after the party, again, she doesn't need to drive this car. She can just walk back to her flat and then give the car back the next day.
Yeah.
The party is on campus, but for some reason she decides, I'm going to drive this car back to my dad. You know, keep in mind she's been drinking as well. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, but she does crash the car. And she actually puts about $10,000 in damage to this car. And when her dad finds out about it, he's obviously angry, but he's glad that she's okay. And the whole time she's crying and really distraught. And then he takes her back to her flat, and he's like, "It's all right, it's fine.
It's fine. You've been drink driving.
Yeah,
no
it's fine. Like,
Don't
just
worry.
just calm down.
Yeah.
It's okay." And little does he know, this is the last time he'll ever see her.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So when she gets back home, this is when kind of stuff starts to lead up to this incident. She starts to do some very strange things. So first of all, that night, she starts looking at rental properties in like the New Hampshire area, which is like a state over from Massachusetts. It's like about an hour away. And she doesn't actually book anything, but she's looking at rental properties until 4 a.m. that day. And then the next day...
the day that she's drunk?
Yeah, that night she's drunk.
She crashes the car, she goes back, and then she starts looking at rental properties.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until like 4 a.m.
Right.
And then the next day, obviously that same day, because it's 4 a.m., she then prints off... So this is 2004, so this is the time where you print off directions. So so she prints off directions from Massachusetts to this place called Vermont, which is also in New Hampshire, and specifically it's a place called Bartlett. And Bartlett, it does make sense because this is an area that she used to go every summer to go hiking. So it's a place that she knows really well. Yeah. So it's just it does make sense that if she's going to go away, it's going to be somewhere she knows really well, which is Bartlett. However, it's kind of weird because it's the start of the semester and she's just started her placement. So it doesn't make sense that she's planning a random trip away and, just at the start, of everything kicking off for the new year of school. And after she's kind of printed these directions off, she decides to email her boyfriend. Another kind of strange thing. She emails him that she's got his missed call and that she can't call him back and that she'll speak to him later.
She emails him?
She emails him this.
Like as in an electronic mail, not a text message?
No, email. So this is strange. She's missed a call from her boyfriend, and I mean, I know it's 2004, but you still have text, SMS. You can still send a text saying, "I will call you back."
That was a BBM, wasn't it? BlackBerry messengers.
Back in the day.
BBM me.
I mean, she maybe had like a Nokia. I don't know what she did, but it's still texting. She sends this email to him, and then after she sends this email to her boyfriend, she does something that to this day, nobody explains the reasoning behind it. It doesn't really make sense. She writes another email, and this time the email is to her professors. And in this email, she says that she's going to be off for a week because there's been a death in her family. Now, this was a lie. According to her family, her friends, there was no such thing. Nobody had died. But she for some reason says this to the professors. And then after this, she gets into the car and, this is the car that's a hot mess. It is an absolute, it's undrivable. And she leaves. She leaves the campus. And then she's seen on the ATM CCTV, as an ATM CCTV, and she withdraws $280. Okay. This is all she owns.
Oh, right.
She basically,
that's a very specific
amount. She basically empties her bank. And then after that, she's seen another CCTV camera at a liquor store. And she buys like a lot of alcohol for one person. So she buys like random, so a bottle of Kahlua.
Okay, yeah.
Which is like, is this like a coffee?
Yeah, it's nice.
A coffee and rum.
Yeah.
Basically, is it a espresso martini? No.
You could put it in it. But,
yeah. She gets a bottle of Kahlua, a bottle of Bailey's, a bottle of vodka, and a box of wine.
Sounds like she is making espresso martinis and having some wine as well.
Yeah. It's quite a lot of alcohol.
It's a lot of cream-based alcohol.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, for one person, is she going to meet someone? I mean, is she buying alcohol for like a...
I mean, I already have,
some kind of...
my thoughts.
Maybe. And then after that, she's unaccounted for 1 hour. So she's not seen on any CCTV. She's not seen any cameras. All we know is that she is heading north towards New Hampshire.
Okay.
All signs point that way. At some point, when she's driving up there, we don't actually know what exactly she did in that 1 hour.
Yeah.
But we know that around 7 p.m, she drives off the main road.
Okay.
And she goes into this like dirt track.
Mm-hmm.
And then she crashes into like some sort of ditch or something. She crashes. And she ends up crashing right in front of a house. This is when like it's getting dark outside as well, around 7 p.m. in February. So, you know, on the East Coast. So it's dark now, and she crashes right in front of the house. And the woman who lives in that house, she obviously hears the commotion. She doesn't actually come outside to see what's going on, but she sees it, and so she calls 911. Yeah. And she reports the accident. So that's the first 911 call. There's 2 911 calls that happen that night. First one is from this woman in the house. And then a few minutes later, there's a local guy called Butch, who is Butch, who drives a bus. Okay. And he's in his bus.
Butch the bus driver.
Butch the bus driver. Butch and his bus basically come over. He's on the road and he sees this happen. Okay. So he's like quite a few feet away from Maura. But when he sees this happen, so he's like, oh shit, this girl just crashed. So he drives over, and he's like, oh hi, like, are you okay? And he said that she was in shock, but she didn't need to seem to be injured or anything. And he just said, do you want me to call an ambulance? Do you want me to call the police? And she's like, no, I've already called them. I've actually called AAA. Now, he knows this is a lie. Yeah. He is a local guy, and he knows there's no cell service there. And when he offered to call the police for her, he was planning on going and using his landline, just like the woman in the house had done. But he doesn't really press her. He's like, okay, that's cool. And he drives off, but he goes to his house, which is really close by, and he calls the police anyway. So that's the second 911 call. So between the time that he sees Maura and the first responding officer arrives, the time that elapses is 7 minutes. It's only 7 minutes between when he sees Maura and when the first responding officer arrives. Okay. So the officer arrives and Maura is nowhere to be seen. So she had, within this 7 minutes, she somehow disappears. Disappears out of sight. So they're like, okay, where is this girl? And they actually think maybe she was just drink driving and she's just walked off because she's drunk or whatever. And they do actually, look for miles around this crash to find her, but they don't actually see anybody walking. There's no tracks in the woods either, like no footprints or anything. All they can see is that the car has boxed wine in it and all the alcohol, and it's actually not known what's left of the alcohol, whether she's drank. It's actually, I couldn't find it, whether she had drank a lot of it or not. I just know that the boxed wine wasn't touched. There was a Coke bottle that had alcohol in it, and the airbags were deployed. So the next day, obviously hearing about Maura missing, all her friends and family start to travel to Massachusetts to help look for Maura. She's been missing for a whole day now, and one of those people that is coming over to Massachusetts is Maura's boyfriend.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, coming from Oklahoma. And while he's at the airport the next day, he has a missed call. And when he listens to the voice message, all he can hear is a strange whimpering noise. Nothing else, just someone whimpering on the other line. And to this day, he insists it was Maura. He's just convinced it was Maura.
But he would tell you?
It's like an unknown number. It's never been kind of like, he doesn't know who the number was. Okay. And nothing like that. I don't know if they could like track numbers, or I'm not sure, but to this day, nobody knows who called him. But it was just that he could hear whimpering, and he's just convinced it was Maura. So that day, police brought out bloodhounds, who are dogs that can smell a person, right? And so they track Maura from the site of the crash, and they actually track her scent to about 100 feet up towards like the direction that she should have been traveling in. Okay. But her scent after 100 feet just disappears,
Mm-hmm.
completely just vanishes,
Okay.
and they can't track her anymore. So she's obviously walked. After Butch has left her, she's walked 100 feet somewhere, for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's disappeared. Now, for me to kind of help you sort of kind of solve this, I think a lot of clues actually lie in the few days leading up to this accident. I think there's a lot of strange things that happened to Maura, on the days that led up to this accident. So about 4 days before, Maura was at one of her part-time jobs.
One of?
She had two, actually. And one of them was, I suppose, she was some sort of bouncer, I guess. Right. I know, she what it's described as is she was at the door of a building, and she checked IDs, and she would allow people to come in or not, pretty much. I don't know if she was checking people's IDs for age, or if they were like... It was like a... If they were like... A private allowed to come in. Yeah, so I don't know if I can call her a bouncer or such, but... Yeah, this is
the same principle, but yeah.
Yeah, so she was working the night shift, so she was, it's like maybe like 3 a.m. at this point, and her boss comes over and she sees Maura in some sort of trance-like state, where she's just in the corner, and she's staring into space. She's not checking anyone's ID. She's not stopping from anyone coming in. She's basically not doing anything. And so when the second that her boss comes over, and it's like, are you okay? Maura's like, just breaks down, starts crying. And all she can say is, my sister, my sister, my sister. She can't get anything else out. Okay. All she says is my sister. And her boss is like, okay, you should just go home. Like, you're obviously not in the right state to work. So, but her boss also says, do you want me to stay with you? Do you need someone to talk to? Yeah. Do you need anybody? And Maura's like, no, I have my flatmate. This is another lie. She's not had a flatmate in years. So she doesn't actually have a flatmate. So why does she lie about that? I don't really, the first lie was about calling AAA. And then this is another lie about she has a flatmate. And then the boss just allows her to go home, and that's it. She only had like an hour left of her shift. So I'm wondering, did she just want to get off early, but then just an hour? Also, she's just a 21-year-old girl. Why would she act and cry? It's a bit strange. So that's 4 days before the accident. Some other things that were a bit strange were actually her car. When they found her car, there was, she'd packed some clothes, which does indicate that she's taken a trip. But there was also, there was school books, which indicates that she wants to come back, because school books, you're thinking of studying, So, and then there was one book called The White Peril. This book is actually about people who go to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, where she was heading. And there are stories about these people, about them getting injured or that they die. Okay. So some people have theorized that she was actually planning on just going up there to die or to disappear. But it just doesn't make sense with her school books. Like, why would you want to study? What was left? Do we know what was left in her flat? I'm gonna get onto that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But and also, so when she crashed her dad's car, her dad told her to pick up accident papers. So this is when you had to maybe pick up the insurance papers rather than call people or whatever, or do it online. So she had those papers in her car as well. So she had picked them up, and she was planning on returning those to her dad. So I just feel like it doesn't make sense if she was planning on going into the mountains to disappear or to lose her life if she had this stuff in her car. Yeah. Another thing is that there was a rag stuffed into the tailpipe of her car. Now this is something that her dad has said this is some sort of advice she gave her, because the car was smoking quite a lot. And so he said, if you have an emergency where you really need to use this car and you have to drive somewhere, stuff this into the tailpipe and it will stop the smoking. Now, this is really strange. I think this is kind of strange advice. I don't know if this is very safe. But police did actually a lot of tests with this, where they
Mhm.
put a rag into the same type of car,
Mhm.
into the same kind of pipe, at any speed at all. This rag falls out. So it doesn't make sense that this rag was in there, unless she stuffed it in there after the crash because she was planning on driving on. But then the
I don't
car was like
know. I think
undrivable after
that's.
the crash. So that's another strange thing.
I think it's hard to test that one because you could have. You are right. You could have 9 times out of 10 it doesn't fall out, but then the one time that she's actually done it, it hasn't. Like,
Yeah.
I think like with friction and stuff, and how thick's the rag, how much is it jammed in, stuff like that. I'm not 100% like on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they would test it.
I
properly.
feel like it's something that maybe Maura knows herself, and
Yes.
we will not understand when she did it, or why she did it, or how she did it. And then there was also a witness.
Oh.
Who, after this accident, a few days after Maura disappeared, a witness says that she thinks she saw Maura.
Okay.
Emphasis on thinks she saw Maura, but she thinks she saw Maura or a woman
Mm-hmm.
who looks a lot like Maura with a man at a supermarket. She looked really upset, and when their eyes met, the woman who she saw mouthed the words, "Help me," to her.
Why didn't you help her?
So by the time that she kind of knew what was going on, I think she didn't really clock it or something.
Mm-hmm.
The woman had left the supermarket and she was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of only sighting, really, I think, that of her afterwards, if it is even her.
Mm.
They're not actually sure.
Yeah.
About whether this was Maura or not. And this is all going on back in 2004, all this news stories coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But further on into her disappearance, maybe like a year after, a lot of truth kind of comes out about Maura. This
as a person.
As a person, yeah. So a lot of kind of, she's this all-American girl who has a big smile, who's got a perfect life on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of kind of her darker side comes out into the news, and people find out that there's more to her than this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things is that, as you might remember, I said that she left military school to pursue nursing. Emphasis on the left. She actually was forced to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of military school, they take you on these trips.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the places that they took them to was Fort Knox, which is a really, really secure place, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess there's like maybe shops in there or something. And she actually decided to steal from Fort Knox. Stupid things like lipstick, nail polish. Yeah, she decided to just steal that, and she got caught. And apparently she didn't even have a reason. And I feel like there are some girls who are like that. Some girls, young girls, who just want to steal stuff because they think it's fun or whatever. So I have heard about this before, where some girls do that. But it was
always a reason.
It's like a thrill, is it, or something? But
attention seeking.
Maybe the fact that she did it in Fort Knox is a bit strange.
I think that's. I'm not a psychologist, but I think that's slightly irrelevant in the fact that if you're a military, family, you're probably traveling all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just dotting yourself about, like, you're uprooting yourself all the time. Mm-hmm. So it can affect kids in terms of, like, the dad, well, mum, dad, whoever it is never there with them because they're always away doing something else. Your friends, you make friends, and then you're leaving again. On to the next one, make friends, then you're leaving again. So it's like almost a cry for help or an attention-seeking thing.
Could be. I think maybe she didn't wanted a way out of the military, and this was her because when she got caught, they basically said that she was going to be expelled. Yeah. And she thought, okay, being expelled looks really bad, but if I leave out of my own choice, it doesn't.
It's that we would advise you to leave, because if you don't leave, we're going to remove you.
Pretty much. So she decided to just leave. Mm-hmm. So that's something that didn't really come out until very later on, the details of that. Another thing was that she actually was caught with a stolen credit card. So she stole a credit card from her neighbor, she denies it, but she was using a credit card that was not hers to order pizza. And the police got this tip about her ordering pizza. These are all coming up leading up to this accident, by the way, just a few days or so. Apart from the university thing, she transferred a while back, but so the kind of police do some sort of sting operation where they just wait for her to receive this pizza, and then they come out and they're like, what's going on? And she says that she found, so this at this time in 2004 they I guess they put credit card numbers on receipts.
They do, yeah. Imagine ordering a pizza and the police like flood
your house. I know. Of all the crimes that you could commit.
But yes, you are right. They usually do log the long number or something. Yeah.
Okay, that's so strange to me because it's so easy to steal that. I mean, I'm sure they don't do it anymore, do they?
The full number is not on the receipt.
So how did she manage? Because this is her excuse. She said that this is how she got the credit card number from a receipt. She didn't actually steal it. She just saw it, and that's how she.
Yeah, but then.
Unless it doesn't make sense because
good
it's
point.
Not the full
if
number.
In 2004, do you need additional like the name, all that fun when you're entering
you
it?
You might not. I mean, all these security things have been added because I find in general in the world safety is brought in when things go wrong. It's never like there to begin with. It's reasons why it's there. So maybe that's why you get so much more questions.
I'm Googling this. Sorry, I'm not being rude and just like texting someone around. I'm trying to find out if you can. It seems very odd that. I think you need more than just the number, the long number.
Back in the day, or I'm saying back in the day, like
I don't know.
It was 17 years ago. It's quite a while.
Yeah. You must need something else to verify it.
Or she's lying. Yeah, or she's just stolen the credit card, and that's her excuse was just that she saw it in a receipt, and she actually ended up getting a mugshot taken of her.
Oh.
And this is something I wanted to show you actually. What she looks like usually and what she looks like in this mugshot.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of. I feel like this whole darker side.
I don't want to see the problem.
Wait, I'll do it. So I'm just going to show you a normal photo of Maura Murray, and you can describe it to the listeners.
Yeah.
And then you can describe the mugshot. So, and you know, we can go from there. So this is her normally.
Oh, can you not get one with like more hair in it?
More
hair.
Looks
like she's got a wild afro.
She just always has her hair in a bun. Just.
Oh, she like normal. Looks very similar to a young Ronda Rousey.
Oh.
The UFC fighter. Very similar.
Oh, I thought you were meaning someone else.
Very similar in looks to her. Like if you imagine her as a child, that's what she looks like.
I don't know if I can picture. I know that name, Ronda Rousey.
Search her.
So this is her normally, right? Okay, so big smile, just like natural, you know. This is her in her mugshot.
They don't got any better.
This is the
quality of image.
The only photo I
They're
can
very
find.
grainy.
But it's eerie.
Well, she looks like she looks pissed off. When was that? Oh, is this the mugshot from the credit card?
Yeah.
Theft.
I just find it really, really dark. Like,
I think the one thing that adds to it is the fact that it's grainy as anything.
It's grainy. It's black and white. Yeah, but just her expression.
Well, she's fuming. She's been arrested.
She's just I don't know, something about this mugshot just really, really freaks me out. Ronda
Rousey. Sorry, I'm derailing this, but I just want to show you. This thing. Why is my internet? My phone is rubbish. There you go. Yeah, do you not think she looks similar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a young version of that.
Yeah.
So that's how I would describe her, as a young Ronda Rousey. And then in the mugshot, I would describe her as an angry Ronda Rousey.
Yes, I don't know.
She does look, but I think the mugshot being black and white and grainy doesn't help.
No, it makes it look kind of scary.
Don't understand why it's like that.
I don't really know why they've done it. It's the only one available as well. There's not actually a lot of pictures of Maura available, but that's the mugshot she got. And it's worth noting that she obviously lived on her own in this flat, but the amount of pizza she ordered for like a party. Like, she ordered several, and then it came out that Maura actually suffered from an eating disorder, which was bulimia.
Yes.
Which I believe is kind of one of those eating disorders that is accompanied by binge and restricting. So where you restrict yourself, you restrict eating, and then you end up binging, and then you feel guilty and you restrict again. But sometimes when you feel so guilty, you want to make yourself sick. Obviously, we don't know if this is what Maura was going through. Like, it kind of shows itself in different ways in different people. Like, people's eating disorders are not even all the same. And also, it's not fully confirmed that she definitely had binge eating disorder or something. Yeah. But usually when this happens, you're going through a very stressful time. You know, you're having like a bad time. So she was, something was stressing her out that had, you know, triggered her to order all this food a few days before the crash. You know, so what is that? What was it that had caused this? And this is actually leading up to the last point that I wanted to make before I kind of give you a theory.
Okay.
Yeah, so the last thing is actually what you asked earlier about how was her room left and her stuff.
Yeah.
So she actually had all her stuff in boxes in her room. So when they went to her room, everything was in boxes.
Okay.
And now this could be either she was packing up all her stuff, but it's the start of semester, so maybe she hadn't unpacked all her stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we don't actually know which way around it was. Something that did come out about her relationship was how much infidelity was in it. So her boyfriend was cheating on her, and she actually, before she left her flat, she printed off an email that described the cheating, the details of it, the ins and outs. I don't know if this was an email that she just wrote out and she saved in her drafts, or if it's an email that she sent to someone or someone sent to her. I actually don't know the details, but it's an email that describes everything about his infidelity.
Okay.
She prints it and sticks it to one of the boxes before she leaves. Just no explanation about
what's in that box.
It's just her clothes, her stuff. Like, it's not a significant box in any way. And I was thinking, did she, you know, is this something that she, you know, triggered her and she was leaving because of this? But it doesn't make sense because she was cheating too. So I don't know. You know, they're both cheating on each other. And so that's actually all the information really that I have. There is some more information in terms of whether she was with a second person. So just little things that I thought I would bring to your attention. So all the missing posters from Maura said that she was a blonde girl wearing a dark jacket. She's blonde.
No, she wasn't.
She was blonde. Like light brown. Like light.
She wasn't blonde in any of those pictures. Oh, well, I think the thing's bloody black and white, but...
Light coloured hair. Blonde.
You're telling me that is light coloured hair?
That's not light hair. But at the time, maybe
missing
she dyed her hair
that's
then.
the thing.
That's the missing poster.
But that's still dark.
I would say that's light.
Yeah, because of the sun. This because of the light. Look at these pictures.
No, that's her sister.
Sorry.
Look, yeah. Maybe at the time
she dyed her hair.
She dyed her hair or something, because you know.
She must have, because all of them that's dark.
Yeah, she's got dark hair there. Yeah. So, it's, it's not really
I mean, it's
that
not
significant.
Yeah.
It's just that she was girl wearing a dark jacket. But in the ATM CCTV, she is actually seen wearing a light jacket, not a dark jacket, and it's a light jacket that is way too big for her. So people are wondering, is that her jacket? Is she wearing that jacket or not? Like I can we'll have a look at that CCTV picture, but the jacket is definitely too big for her. Yeah.
Cool. Carry on, sorry.
So that's one of the things where they're like, oh, is that her jacket, or is it either someone she's with or someone she went to meet? So yeah, this jacket is big for her.
Okay.
And another thing is that, do you remember the woman in the house that made the
911 call?
The 911 call, the first 911 call?
Yeah.
So in her 911 call, in her original call, she says that she... Listen.
Oh, sorry.
In her original 911 call, she says that she saw, when she made that call, she specifically said that there was a man in the car who was smoking a cigarette. But after she made that statement, she was like, no, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe it was just the light. But it's awfully specific, that description of a man smoking a cigarette. It's a very specific thing to say. But then she retracted her statement and she said, I don't know, actually, I'm not sure. And another thing is that whether she was meeting someone, because when she was driving, believe it or not, there is a place in New Hampshire called Londonderry, and a call came in from Londonderry that's unknown, because the call actually didn't make it to Maura's phone because of the service problems, but they know that the call was made somehow.
Yeah.
And it was from a random number, and it's not anyone she knows from that area that came to her phone but didn't quite get there. So they're wondering, could it be that person that she was going to meet, maybe, or something. Somebody is calling her.
Yeah.
There's also just one other thing we should know about. That night when she was at her job, she when she was crying and stuff, that same night there was a hit and run on campus. Now, it could be theorized that maybe she popped out of her job to grab a snack or something. She left her job and drove somewhere. And maybe this hit and... Because to this day, nobody knows who did this hit and run. Nobody knows how... The person, was a major one. The person that was hit was in a coma.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so it's was it Maura? Why was she crying so much? And when, she was saying, my sister, but when they asked her sister, are you okay? Sister was like, we had a call earlier and it was completely normal.
And sister was nowhere near?
No, her sister said she doesn't really know why.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
So what, she's dead?
Is she?
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
She's vanished.
She's disappeared for 17 years.
Oh, fucking hell, okay.
And we don't know where she is to this day.
Okay.
It's worth saying that I don't know if you know what an A-frame house is.
Yeah.
What is an A-frame house? Is that all that is? It's like the design? So there was an A-frame house around the area that Maura crashed. And there was a guy that lived there, and his brother, years after this happened to Maura, reported to the police that he thinks his brother's dodgy and that they should, look into his brother, who lived very close by. And it came out that there was, I can't quite remember, but there was like carpet that a private investigator obtained from this A-frame house that had substance on it that later it was shown was human remains.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the police said they would look into it, but nobody ever got any answers about that. And then new occupants came and moved into this A-frame house.
Did not be able to DNA check that?
It never got anywhere. The police, and also it's something that is not admissible in court, because unless the police collect this
obtain
evidence.
it, yeah, then it could be bullshit.
Yeah, so I don't think they even bothered to
Okay.
even look into it properly because some other guy went and got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the new owners of this place refurbished the whole place. They did new carpet, so it kind of went nowhere. But this, I think this PI still didn't give up, and he actually went and looked into one of the closets after, and there was like bark that he took off. That was tested, and it was shown to have human blood on it. Again, the police said that it was the evidence was like too like mangled for them to test for whose blood. Yeah. Again, not admissible in court.
Okay.
So it's almost like they didn't bother.
Interesting. I think. Okay, so I have two thoughts on this. And neither of them are aliens.
Good.
Unfortunately.
I feel like you're going to really go with aliens.
I think
with this one.
I don't. The problem I have is that I'm making an assumption of someone's personality. Mm-hmm. And it's.
I mean, that's what you did with poor Igor last time.
Yeah, true. But okay, so I'm thinking for one of them. Yeah, well, I mean, even both of them. She could be a very, very emotionally disturbed person. Does that make sense? Like, I think there's a lot of issues that may be kicking about. And the first one I thought of was if she's got herself into trouble with like drugs or alcohol or both, most likely. So she's like an alcoholic. She's hit someone drunk driving before, and then she's in debt with some sort of dodgy person, and then goes with that, like, that's why she said my sister, because the dodgy person's like, I'm gonna kill your sister.
Okay.
If you don't sort it out. This is just where my head's gone.
Okay.
And then she tried to like do a runner or something with him. That's the first thought. Second thought, I'm literally working these out in my head as they go. I definitely think she was troubled as a child, as a young teenager. When did she go missing? How old was she? 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was troubled as a young, like, stealing credit cards and stuff. It seems like quite a cry for help kind of thing. And then moving around in a military family, like, we don't know what her family life was like either.
So I don't think it's a military family. It's just she was just in a military school.
Sorry, I'm confusing them then. Yeah, because it's her. So her parents aren't in the military. Well, that means they've sent her there for a reason then.
Yeah, or I don't know. I mean, it's quite a profession, isn't it? Military and
sending you, like, unless she wanted to, or the dad had some affiliation with it. Like, stereotypically, I'm very much stereotyping here, but you're sending a girl to military school if they've not been ideal to deal with. So I think there's some issues there.
I think there's more women joining these professions for sure, because it's like quite, equality and all that. Yeah, just now. But maybe, you know what, for sure it was different 2004. Even it was different even in 2017. Yeah. So, yeah, I think cultural norms were a lot different back then.
But I think the breakdown was like the breakdown outside the building, the bouncer person. I think that was just like a cry for help. And then oh no, it's fine, I'm just going to go back to my flatmate, was I can't be asked talking to you about it. I'm just going to hide. So I think that's all like shows like not a great mental state for her. So going in, the question becomes whether she was with someone or she wasn't with someone in the car.
I am convinced she was going to meet someone.
She was going to meet someone. So that's different, because then that means, yeah, like if she's going to meet someone, then the person's not in the car already. And then she's drinking again. She's like, I'm not saying probably because I don't know her at all, but if she's like an alcoholic, say, she takes all her money out. She's like, oh, I'm going to take all my money out. I'm going to go spend the week with whoever it is, Greg. Let's call him Greg. And then she goes, gets all the booze because she needs booze. Starts drinking on the way gets drunk, crashes the car. Guy asks her if she's okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I've already called the police because she needs time to get away. Because if they catch her drunk, then she's in trouble. Does a runner, and then she gets found. Well, depending on how drunk she is, she could pass out. You don't know what happens to her. And then if this person that you spoke about at the very end, if he comes and finds her, and he's a psychopath or he's some weirdo, then he does God knows what with her. So
I feel like kind of her reasonings for leaving so abruptly, writing that weird lie of an email to her professors.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, that was my other one. What if Bill was having an affair with her sister?
I don't think.
And that's why she was like, my sister, like crying about her sister. And then she like wrote the note to like prominently put it there, and then she was leaving, and she was maybe going to meet someone else, or she was doing it, and then that would have explained like the sadness and
why
drinking.
Has this other person not come forward?
Oh, because they're the reason that. The person that she was waiting with.
Yeah, like unless they're the person who hurt her.
I'm not sure if they tried to call her afterwards, then it makes less sense. But I mean, they could be doing that to cover their tracks. I think you make a good point.
I just don't understand in 17
this is a tough
years,
one.
whoever she's going to meet hasn't come forward to say it was me, she's meeting me. Unless this person, I just can't see a girl like who is troubled, who is stressed out, going to a mountain range by herself. Like, don't you want to? I guess maybe she just wanted to be alone.
She could have, yeah. That's what it is, but it's. And then who called her? Someone could have still called her that she was cheating on with, and it may have nothing to do with it at all. The person that she was cheating on, she was having whatever you call it, infidelity with, he just tried to call her. Like, it could be a complete coincidence, and she's done. There's quite a few possibilities, but it's
a thought. So
it's mad that she's like just went missing. Like, it's not like she's.
There is no trace of her to this day.
I think there's an alcohol problem in there, and I think there's a problem with, whether it be authority from parents, whether it be just like being a bully, like whatever it was as a child. I think there was some sort of issue there. I think it then moved into alcohol. And I think because that explains a lot of like the driving drunk and stuff, even if she didn't need to drive because she was on campus.
Yeah.
I was going to drive.
And the whole like woman said she saw a man drive
so that becomes then, is she part of like a group of people that are like alcoholics or drug addicts or something, where they're all together.
I couldn't find anything around about Butch saying he saw a man smoking.
Oh yeah, well he went in. Well, did he not go? Did he go into the window?
No, he just saw her.
Yeah, but he spoke to her.
Yeah, he spoke to her, but she was out of her car.
Oh.
So I don't know if he looked at the car.
Pardon me. No, I would have thought he would have noticed another person.
Yeah, and the thing is, this case is just so cold. People like Butcher have now passed away. There are people who are not even in this anymore because it happened so long ago.
I don't like the fact that like sometimes I feel like when you said like, oh yeah, the police canvassed the areas, they searched all the forests. Did they? Did they really? Like within a day they'd canvassed the forest and stuff.
No, probably not.
They just probably driven around a bit and had a look and seen if she was kicking about. Which is, yeah.
They're just they said they were checking for footprints, which they couldn't find any of. But yet, how deep did they actually look into this?
Was it raining?
Her dad actually did file a complaint about this to police, and I think he tried to sue them.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
Because he was saying that the police were actually getting in the way of the investigation rather than helping it.
Yeah.
So.
Because they want to just close the case. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think because they insisted that she just wanted to run away. And that she was just depressed and she wanted time for herself. And their argument was that as an adult, you are allowed to disappear if you want to. But so there is a theory called the tandem driver theory where she was, it's a theory that she was driving to New Hampshire with another person or another group, but in two separate cars. And what happened was that she had the crash. The other car was 7 minutes away. And when she started to walk up, that's how many feet it was.
They picked her.
The other car saw the crash and picked her up. And that's why her scent disappeared. Because the only way it makes sense that her scent suddenly disappeared to the dogs was because she was picked up. She got into a car after walking 100 feet.
Again, if you're drunk and some boy, like some guy, just stops the car and is like, "Do you need a lift?"
Yeah.
Then it becomes.
Do you think
possibly
someone picked her up and took her to that
A-frame
house?
Yeah, how far away is the A-frame house?
It's close by. I'm not sure. It's like on the same road.
Potentially, I think that's a potential. I think it's yeah. It all becomes, if you're inebriated in any way, you're opening yourself up to so many more potential situations because you can't handle yourself. You can't support yourself.
I think that she was victim of a serial killer or something, and I think that the person who called that boyfriend was her.
Yes, I think maybe if she got a hold of the phone or something.
Yeah.
Now, God, that's so creepy.
And maybe, do you know what I think? I think that she was, if she called Bill, she might have been in the same room as her abductor, and she couldn't quite say anything apart from whimper, just to give him a signal.
Yeah. He just says call. Maybe
he doesn't know serial killer, he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't know that she's got hold of a phone and dialed number. Maybe he's not looking.
Or he's a sick person that's just like, call this person, but you can't say
maybe
anything.
Yeah, but I feel like she couldn't say help me
or
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm Maura for a reason. All she could do was whimper.
Yeah. Okay, well...
So creepy.
That's very much still unsolved.
Yes.
I have not managed to solve that one. I've given a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
But I'm not as confident as the other one.
No, aliens being... Yeah, that was very confident.
No, that was good though. That's really interesting. I'm amazed that no one's ever been, found or anything of it. That's really interesting. Oh, well.
Very confusing.
Yeah. Well, maybe I doubt we'll ever hear anything update-wise of this. But yeah.
The family are not giving up.
I also noted that it was all cream-based alcohol.
Cream-based alcohol? Is that one of your notes?
Cream-based alcohol, yeah. Which means that they're old people.
Old people?
Well, a lot of them drink like Baileys and stuff. But
Kahlua?
It's a weird one. Yeah, it's a weird choice. But yeah.
Assortment, which again, maybe she's buying alcohol for different people.
Yes, she's
meeting a group of people.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I guess we'll never know, but it's a mystery.
I really don't think it is. It is a very large mystery. The one that we have not solved today.
Yes.
Well, on that upsetting note for me, having not solved it,
I think you'll redeem yourself in the next episode.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Get my notes out. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Please subscribe to the channel. Go back and listen to last week's episode if you haven't already. And we look forward to welcoming you to episode number 3.
Yeah.
In a week's time.
Yeah, and also leave your theories in the comments below.
For sure.
What do you think happened to Maura?
Yes. I would actually enjoy reading those because I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. It's mind numbing actually. But that's why it's so interesting.
Well, fingers crossed she's still alive and
hopefully she gets some justice anyway.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a good day everybody and we'll see you next time.